Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring this thing called grounding or earthing.
Right.
And we've got some article excerpts
Right.
all about connecting directly to the Earth's surface,
Interesting.
barefoot on the ground.
Okay.
And how some folks think that this has all sorts of health benefits.
Right.
Is this science or is this wishful thinking?
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
It's a fascinating concept, isn't it?
It is.
This idea that we can tap into the
Yeah.
Earth's energy to improve our health.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how disconnected we've become from the natural world.
So, okay, imagine you're a device that needs to recharge.
Okay.
Grounding is basically plugging yourself into the earth.
Okay.
But instead of an outlet, it's grass or sand or dirt.
That's a great way to put it.
So,
The idea is that the Earth's surface has a negative electrical charge.
okay.
And by making direct contact, skin to soil,
Yeah.
we can use that charge to neutralize
Right.
harmful free radicals in our bodies.
Oh.
Think of free radicals as little electron thieves running amok, causing damage and inflammation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the Earth is like this giant battery constantly supplying the electrons that we need to stay balanced.
Exact.
But I've always heard about getting benefits just from being in nature.
Right.
Is being barefoot really that different?
It's not just about being surrounded by nature.
Okay.
It's about that direct electrical connection.
Got it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
You don't charge your phone by holding it near the outlet.
Right.
You have to plug it in.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And you mentioned inflammation.
Yes.
How does grounding play into that?
So inflammation is a natural process,
Okay.
but when it becomes chronic,
Right.
it can lead to all sorts of health issues.
Okay.
Grounding proponents suggest that by neutralizing free radicals with the Earth's electrons, we can reduce that inflammation and potentially prevent or alleviate those problems.
So wait, you're saying that simply walking barefoot could help manage things like arthritis
Possibly.
or even heart disease?
That's the idea.
That's amazing.
It is fascinating.
But is there actually solid evidence
Yeah.
to support these claims?
That's where things get a bit tricky.
Okay.
While there are studies suggesting potential benefits,
Okay.
most are small scale
Right.
and need further investigation.
Okay.
We also can't rule out the placebo effect,
Yeah.
feeling better, because we believe it's working.
Right. That's true. But even if it's partially placebo,
Right.
if people are feeling less pain or sleeping better,
Yeah.
isn't that still a positive outcome?
Sure.
Has your research led you to believe
Well, hard to say.
that grounding can make a real difference?
Yeah.
Or is it still too early to tell?
The research is definitely intriguing,
Okay.
but I'm cautious about making definitive statements without more robust evidence.
Sure.
What I find fascinating is that even if some benefits are attributed to the placebo effect, it highlights the power of our minds and beliefs
Okay.
in influencing our well-being.
Okay. So let's say someone is interested in experimenting with this whole grounding thing.
Yeah.
What's the best way to go about it?
The most basic method is simply walking barefoot on natural surfaces.
Okay.
Grass, sand, dirt. You get the idea.
So running shoes are a no-go.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what about people who live in concrete jumbles or
with that.
can't easily get outside?
You're right. Asphalt doesn't count.
Okay.
It acts as an insulator, blocking that electrical connection.
Okay.
For those with limited access to nature,
Mm-hmm.
there are grounding devices available.
Oh, really?
Mats, sheets, even bands
Yeah.
that you can use indoors.
Wait, so you can actually bring the Earth's energy inside?
That's the idea.
How do these devices even work?
Oh,
Do they plug into something?
they do. Most grounding devices connect
Okay.
to the ground wire
Okay.
of a standard electrical outlet,
Okay.
essentially bringing the Earth's charge indoors.
So it's like having a patch of Earth right at your feet.
Exactly.
Even if you're in a high-rise apartment.
Exactly.
Now, that's what I call bringing the outdoors in.
Yeah.
But are there any safety concerns with using these devices?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
It's crucial to use properly designed and certified products
Okay.
to ensure they're actually grounding you safely and not exposing you to stray currents.
Oh, wow.
Always do your research and choose reputable brands.
Right.
Don't just grab the cheapest option you find online.
Good advice.
Yeah.
So we've covered what grounding is, the science behind it, and even how to do it.
Right.
But what about the potential benefits?
What?
What kind of changes are people reporting?
That's where things get really interesting. The range of reported benefits is pretty broad.
Okay.
Some people claim it helps with everything from reducing pain and inflammation to improving sleep and boosting energy levels.
Hold on. Are you telling me that simply standing barefoot on the ground
Some people report
could potentially help with chronic pain or give me more energy?
it's possible.
If that's true, sign me up.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
What else is on this list of potential benefits?
People have reported experiencing a whole range of positive effects.
Okay.
Reduced stress and anxiety,
Wow.
improved mood,
Okay.
even enhanced immune function and cardiovascular health.
Oh, wow.
There's even research suggesting grounding can help regulate cortisol levels,
Okay.
which could be a game changer for anyone struggling with stress and sleep issues.
So basically, grounding could be the key
Potentially.
to unlocking a calmer,
It's possible.
healthier, and more energized version of ourselves.
It's an interesting idea.
But hold on, I have to ask, if this is so amazing,
Right.
why isn't everyone doing it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
There has to be a catch, right?
As with any emerging area of research,
Okay.
there are always skeptics and valid criticisms.
Okay.
Some argue that the existing research is limited and more rigorous studies are needed.
So more research is needed to confirm these
Exactly.
anecdotal reports
Right.
and really understand how grounding works.
Exactly.
And as we discussed earlier, the placebo effect can't be discounted.
It's true.
But even if some benefits are attributed to placebo,
Right.
the fact that people are experiencing positive changes
It's interesting, isn't it?
is intriguing.
It is.
I'm starting to see why this topic is generating so much buzz.
Yeah, I can see that.
What other criticisms have you come across?
One common criticism is that the results of grounding can be inconsistent.
Okay.
Some people report dramatic shifts, while others notice little to no difference. There are likely several factors at play here,
Yeah.
including individual differences in body chemistry, lifestyle factors,
Right.
and even environmental variations.
So it's not a guaranteed fix for everyone.
Not necessary.
And the results might vary depending on the person and their environment.
Exactly.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah,
But it still seems like a low-risk practice with potentially high reward.
exactly.
And that's why I encourage people to approach grounding
Yeah.
with an open mind and a willingness to experiment.
Right.
It might not be a miracle cure,
True.
but it's a simple and accessible practice that could potentially have a positive impact on your well-being.
I agree.
Well, I have to say, I'm definitely intrigued by everything we've discussed so far.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It's amazing to think that something as basic as connecting with the earth could have such profound effects on our health and well-being.
It's pretty remarkable.
But I'm curious to learn more about the specific studies that have been done on grounding.
Okay.
What were some of the most compelling findings you came across in your research?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
One study that particularly caught my eye
Okay.
looked at the effects of grounding on sleep and pain,
Oh.
specifically in people with chronic pain conditions.
Okay.
The results were pretty impressive.
Okay. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Well, they found that grounding during sleep led to significant improvements in sleep quality, as well as reductions in pain stress and fatigue. Imagine waking up feeling more refreshed and energized simply because you spent the night grounded.
Wow. That's incredible. You know, I'm always looking for ways to improve my sleep, so this is definitely piquing my interest. What other studies stood out to you?
Another fascinating study focused on blood viscosity,
Okay.
essentially how thick your blood is. Thicker blood can be harder for your heart to pump and increases the risk of blood clots.
Okay, so lower viscosity means better blood flow, which is good for our cardiovascular health. But how does grounding affect blood viscosity? That seems like a pretty complex process.
Researchers found that grounding could actually reduce blood viscosity, potentially leading to improved circulation and a healthier heart. Now, it's important to note that this was a small study, but the findings are definitely intriguing.
If I'm understanding this correctly, you're saying that simply walking barefoot on the earth could potentially improve my heart health. That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is remarkable, isn't it? And speaking of studies, one that caught my eye looked at cortisol levels. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone because it's released when we're under pressure.
Oh, I know all about cortisol. Stress is a constant companion in my life, so how does grounding fit into the picture?
Chronically high cortisol levels can be detrimental to our health, contributing to everything from weight gain to sleep problems to weakened immunity. This study found that grounding helped regulate cortisol levels, resulting in less dramatic spikes throughout the day.
So you're saying that simply walking barefoot could help manage my stress levels. That's amazing. I'm starting to see a pattern here, reducing inflammation, improving blood flow, regulating stress hormones. It sounds like grounding is less about treating specific ailments and more about restoring overall balance to our bodies.
That's a great observation. It seems grounding could be a holistic approach to well-being, influencing multiple systems within the body.
You mentioned EMFs earlier. What exactly are those and how do they relate to grounding?
EMFs, or electromagnetic fields, are invisible energy waves generated by electronic devices and power lines. We're constantly surrounded by them in our modern world.
So my phone, my laptop, the Wi-Fi router, they're all emitting these EMFs. Is that a bad thing?
While everyday exposure to EMFs is generally considered safe, some researchers believe that prolonged exposure could disrupt our body's natural electrical balance, potentially contributing to stress, inflammation, and other health issues.
So it's like we're constantly getting bombarded with electrical noise from our devices, and grounding could be a way to quiet that noise and restore harmony.
Precisely. Grounding proponents suggest that by connecting to the Earth's natural electrical field, which is much more stable and balanced, we can essentially discharge excess electrical buildup from EMFs and rebalance our systems.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like hitting the reset button on our internal electrical system. But if grounding is so beneficial, why isn't everyone doing it? Are there any downsides or risks involved?
As with any emerging health practice, there are always skeptics and valid criticisms.
Yeah.
One common concern is the lack of large-scale, rigorous scientific studies.
So more research is needed to confirm these anecdotal reports and really understand how grounding works.
Exactly. Another criticism is the variability of results. Some people report immediate and dramatic benefits from grounding, while others experience little to no effect.
Why would that be? Why do some people seem to benefit more than others?
There are likely several factors at play, including individual differences in body chemistry, lifestyle factors, and even the environment in which you're grounding. For example, the type of soil, the level of moisture, and even the time of day can all influence the effectiveness of grounding.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and the results can vary depending on the person and their surroundings. That makes sense. Are there any other criticisms we should be aware of?
Another point of contention is the role of the placebo effect. Some argue that the reported benefits of grounding could be attributed to the power of suggestion. People feel better because they believe grounding is working, not necessarily because of any physiological changes.
Okay, so the age-old question of mind over matter. But even if some of the benefits are placebo-driven, if it's helping people feel better, is that necessarily a bad thing? I mean, isn't the ultimate goal to improve our well-being regardless of the mechanism?
That's a great point. And it speaks to the complex interplay between our minds and bodies. Even if some benefits are attributed to placebo, it doesn't diminish the potential value of grounding.
So where do we go from here? For those who are intrigued by the potential benefits of grounding, but maybe a little hesitant to walk around barefoot all the time, what are some practical ways to incorporate it into their lives?
Well, the most straightforward way is to simply spend more time barefoot on natural surfaces. Whether it's walking on grass, sitting on the beach, or gardening in your backyard, any direct contact with the earth can be beneficial.
But what about those of us who live in cities or don't have easy access to those natural surfaces? Are we out of luck?
Not at all. That's where grounding devices can be a great option.
You mentioned these earlier, the mats, sheets, and bands. Can you tell us a bit more about how these devices work and what to look for when choosing one?
Sure. These devices essentially mimic the effects of being barefoot outdoors by connecting your body to the Earth's electrical field through a grounded outlet in your home. It's like bringing a patch of earth indoors.
So instead of kicking off my shoes in the park, I can kick back on my couch with a grounding mat under my feet and still reap the benefits. That sounds pretty appealing.
Exactly. There are many different types of grounding devices available, so you can find one that fits your lifestyle and needs. There are mats for your desk sheets, for your bed, and even bands you can wear on your wrists or ankles.
That's awesome. But are all grounding devices created equal? Are there certain things we should look for to ensure we're getting a quality product?
That's a great question. Not all grounding devices are created equal, so it's important to do your research and choose a reputable brand that uses high-quality conductive materials.
So no skimping on quality when it comes to grounding devices. What else should we keep in mind when shopping for one?
You'll also want to make sure the device is properly designed and certified for safety. You're dealing with electricity here, so you want to be sure it's properly grounded and won't expose you to any stray currents.
Safety first. Any other tips for choosing a grounding device?
Consider your lifestyle and needs. If you spend a lot of time at your desk, a grounding mat might be a good option. If you want to ground yourself while you sleep, a grounding sheet could be beneficial. And if you're on the go, a grounding band might be the most convenient choice.
This is all so fascinating. It seems like grounding could be a simple yet powerful way to enhance our well-being in a world that's increasingly disconnected from nature.
I agree. It's a reminder that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, and that by reconnecting with the earth, we can tap into a source of healing and vitality that's been available to us all along.
Beautifully said. But before we wrap things up, I'm curious to explore some of the bigger questions and implications of this whole grounding phenomenon. What happens when we start to view our health and well-being through the lens of our connection to the earth? That's what we'll be diving into in the final part of our exploration. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been digging deep into this world of grounding, exploring the science, the benefits, the criticisms, and even how to get started.
It's been fascinating.
But now I want to take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does grounding tell us about our relationship with nature and our own health?
That's a really important question. You know, for most of human history, we were inherently grounded.
Right.
We walked barefoot, slept on the ground.
Yeah.
Our lives were intertwined with the rhythms of nature.
But now we're living in a concrete jungle glued to our devices and wearing shoes that literally disconnect us from the Earth's surface.
It's true.
Do you think this disconnect could be contributing to the rise of certain health issues?
It's definitely a compelling theory.
Yeah.
We've talked about how grounding could potentially reduce inflammation, balance our electrical systems, and even regulate stress hormones.
Right.
If our modern lifestyle is disrupting these natural processes, it stands to reason that it could be playing a role in the increase of chronic diseases.
It's almost like we've become ungrounded, both literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
We've lost touch with our roots, so to speak.
I like that.
If grounding is about reestablishing that connection, what are the implications beyond just physical health?
That's where things get really interesting. Grounding isn't just about sticking your feet in the dirt. It's about recognizing that we are part of a larger ecosystem.
Yeah.
Interconnected with the natural world in ways we may not fully understand.
So it's about a shift in mindset.
I think so.
A reminder that we're not separate from nature, but rather a part of it.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a sense of belonging, of coming home to ourselves and to the earth.
Okay.
And that shift in perspective can have ripple effects in all areas of our lives.
You know, it makes me think about how often we try to fix our health problems with pills and procedures, when maybe what we really need is to simply reconnect with the natural world.
I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. We've become so accustomed to seeking external solutions that we've forgotten the inherent healing power of nature.
If grounding is about tapping into that power, I'm curious about what that means for the future of healthcare.
Yeah.
Could we see a shift towards more nature-based therapies and practices?
It's certainly possible. There's a growing movement towards holistic and integrative health, recognizing the interconnectedness of our physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Grounding fits perfectly within that paradigm.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
Yes.
But I imagine there are still many unanswered questions.
Oh, absolutely.
About grounding. What areas of research would you like to see explored further?
There's so much we still don't know.
Yeah.
I'd love to see more research on the long-term effects of grounding, as well as studies that look at specific health conditions. We need more rigorous scientific investigation to fully understand the mechanisms at play and the potential benefits and limitations of this practice.
That makes sense. And as we discussed earlier, it's important to be mindful of the placebo effect and not make any grand claims without solid evidence.
Of course.
But even with those caveats, I think it's safe to say that grounding offers a compelling invitation to reconnect with nature and explore its potential to enhance our well-being.
Absolutely. It's a simple, accessible practice that anyone can try.
Right.
Whether you choose to walk barefoot in the park, invest in a grounding mat, or simply spend more time in nature.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to tune into your body, listen to the rhythms of the earth, and rediscover the profound connection we have with the natural world.
I don't know about you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm feeling inspired to get grounded.
Me too.
This has been a truly eye-opening deep dive.
It has.
And I hope our listeners are feeling just as intrigued as I am.
I hope so too.
I think the beauty of grounding is that it's a journey of discovery, a personal experiment.
That's right.
What works for one person may not work for another.
Right.
So it's all about finding what resonates with you and paying attention to how your body responds.
Well said.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into grounding.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope this episode has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to explore your own connection with the earth. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep diving deep